attacking Iran. So, now I miss it already. Why are you need to stop working.
I know, I'm a fool.
And Substack needs to figure out a way to connect this through
main Substack channel. That'd be awesome. Hey, everyone. Hopefully you can all see me. Francesca and me are obviously, we're not planning to do this. I'm outside in a cafe. Francesca wanted to like rest and relax, but I needed someone to talk to about the absurd controversy around Bob Vylan, Kneecap, and the fact that the BBC, the number one story in the BBC, Francesca, over the past 3 days, isn't about the big, beautiful bill from hell, isn't about, potential war with Iran, isn't about Israel's genocide, isn't about the Haaretz report that came out on Friday that said the IDF was commanded to shoot at Palestinian civilians who were gathered to get aid in Gaza. Can you please tell the people the number one story on BBC over the past 3 days?
I don't know. I'm assuming if it's like likely what I've been seeing, it's probably the fact that Bob Vylan, a punk rap artist at Glastonbury, said death, death, death to the IDF.
Correct. And as of today, Hollywood Reporter has just announced that Bob Vylan has lost his visa, has been dropped by UTA, which apparently I think is still my agency. And Deputy Secretary of State Chris Landau confirmed the duo's visa has been revoked, quote, in light of their hateful tirade at Glastonbury, including leading the crowd in death chants, end quote. And this was all as a result because BBC censored Kneecap, and they wouldn't air Kneecap, so they got Bob Vylan instead. Amazing. And as a result of these actions, everyone has been asked to condemn these statements. These two bands, Bob Vylan and Kneecap, have become more popular, and more people are asking, well, this report just came out 3 days ago that the IDF soldiers were commanded to kill Palestinians. They've killed around 600 who were gathered to get humanitarian aid, and IDF soldiers have called it a killing field. We've seen corporate Democrats over the weekend, instead of uniting on messaging against the big, beautiful bill from hell, attacked Zoran Mamdani and said that he said things that he didn't say, globalize the intifada. And so, because this is so effed up, because I have to just call out the BS, because the double standards are so obscene, I'm like, who can I talk to? And I said, Francesca. And Francesca was like, I'm tired. Please, no watch.
Leave me alone.
Let me kill Friday. I'm like, do it, Francesca.
Let me cry.
Man up, Francesca. And she's a trooper and she did it. Francesca, I yield the floor to you.
No, well, look, first of all, no days off here. And as Waj can attest to, I'm just going to get my plugs in quickly because I want everyone to actually have fun and like take a load off for real. And we have to support live stand-up comedy in order to do that. So come see me at the Ice House this Saturday, July 5th in Pasadena. Yes, Pasadena currently being attacked. And so come take a load off. I'm going to be donating proceeds of the show to Endelon and other organizations. I always donate most of what we make. Also be in Seattle August 1st and 2nd. Live Bituation Room, which is my show. Also Laughs Comedy Club on Friday, August 1st. It's going to be so good. Ijoma Oluo is going to be my guest on August 1st for the Bituation Room. So I'm very excited because I'm like building for these in-person shows because I feel like being together, having some laughs, showcasing some awesome comics, and doing my own stand-up is like one of the bright spots in my life. But I think we're all struggling deeply to figure out, what the hell. Yes, please come, Elizabeth, to Pasadena, 9:30 p.m. this Saturday. What a lineup. It's going to be so good. And also, to your point, there's so much horror in playing out right now. I've been noodling on this. Noodling. I hate that word, but I've been just like struck by this idea that every line Republicans have ever uttered is a lie. Everything they've ever said is a fucking lie. States' rights is a fucking lie, right?
Free speech?
Debt, adding to the debt is a fucking lie. Free speech is a fucking lie. And so I don't ever want to hear a Democrat ever engaging in some of these debates around adding to the debt, around what is free speech, and certainly not around phrases like global intifada, which literally just means global uprising, global revolution. When it comes to Kneecap and when it comes to Bob Vylan, my first thought was like, oh shit, that's like a really, okay. But also, who cares? Anyway, moving on to talking about authoritarianism and living under it. Because the thing is, Kneecap and like Bob Vylan are fucking punk rap bands. Like they're gonna say some shit. They're probably saying like smash the state, death to the weapons manufacturer, whatever they're saying. That is what punk has always been. It's always been anti-authoritarian. It's always been against the grain. It's always made people uncomfortable. Look at the Clash, God Save the Queen, all of this. They've always done that, and so like it would be not fitting if a punk group in American history didn't say some shit that like raised eyebrows. Now, here's the difference. Waj, did they say death to Jews?
No.
No. If they said death to Jews, number one, that's just a Nazi rally. Number two, there's nothing subversive about it, right? I mean, it's subversive because it's a Nazi rally. Like, no one would be in favor of that. Everyone would call it out. Everyone would be like, yee, go play for the skinheads. And that would be the end of the story. No, this is about an army. They're talking about a military that has the audacity to call itself the most moral army in the world, as you mentioned, is mowing down people who are starving, quite literally starving. There's no more words for what is happening over there. There's no more words. How many times can our heart break? There's no more. It is which side are you on? And so if a fucking slogan, whether it's global intifada, which is over here, death to the IDF, okay. Is it the premier of what? Like, is it the, a parliamentarian? No. It's a fucking rap band. It's a punk band. So, and so, yeah, I don't even know, Watch, like the history of, this is what Zoran keeps on trying to say, which is words are different than actions, and policing people's words is something that authoritarians do. But policing someone's actions, especially the actions of a country, of a military under international law, that is what leaders should do. That is what that's what the standards they should be held to. And right now, there are arrest warrant recommendations from the International Criminal Court on Netanyahu and his administration. And yet, Donald Trump is saying, drop the charges on Netanyahu. Oh, drop the charges. He's persecuted, which is just, of course, right? He's just another corrupt ass motherfucker who is cozying up to Donald Trump to get that pardon and get that money.
And it's all connected, right? Because over the weekend, you had Hakeem Jeffries and Democrats literally smear Zoran Mamdani and say, well, he has to denounce saying globalize the intifada. He's never said it. And I'm so glad he did not fall into the condemnathon. It's what me and Mehdi call what Muslims and people of color, especially after 9/11, we have to condemn violent actions done by violent people we've never met. We have to condemn dumb phrases and slogans by people we've never met. And yet, the double standard, Republicans to this day have not been asked to condemn Vance Bolter, who just 3 weeks ago killed a Democratic official, right? And her husband, had a target list of 70. Republicans literally support violent insurrectionists, right? People who came there with the intent to overthrow the United States of America. They support it. They don't condemn it. Republicans have not been asked to condemn Donald Trump for dining with Nick Fuentes. Republicans are not asked, why do you support Elon Musk, who did the double Zig Heil? Republicans have never been asked, why do you support the white supremacist replacement theory? And all these unconditional supporters of Israel, and that includes Hakeem Jeffries, Senator Schumer, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham. None of them have been asked, if you're so offended by words, let me give you some words, Francesca. I did a little bit of research for us. These are some words. Quote, we're finally going to occupy the Gaza Strip. We will stop being afraid of the word occupation. That's Israel's financial minister Smotrich. Here's another one from Smotrich. We are conquering, cleansing, and remaining in Gaza until Hamas is destroyed. The Prime Minister Netanyahu, who Donald Trump wants to get out of jail, right, said, I'll stop aid unless you stop this prosecution against him. He praised that statement, said Smotrich was, quote, speaking the truth. He's Israel's president, Isaac Herzog. There are no innocent civilians in Gaza. Here's another one. Deputy Speaker of Israel's parliament. The country's one common goal is erasing the Gaza Strip from the face of the earth. Speaking about culture, Here's what a lawyer and a television host in Israel tweeted, in February. Every trace of the murderous mutations in Gaza must be erased from the delivery rooms to the last elderly person in Gaza. Speaking about hip hop groups, this is an Israeli rap that went to #1 in the charts, a song called For the Killing of Dua Lipa and model Bella Hadid, using Amalek as a bar, as a lyric. South Africa, when it made its case to the ICJ about Israel with genocidal intent, you know what they did, folks? This was a year and a half ago. They simply copy pasted the genocidal comments of Israel leaders and the
Yep.
obscene double standard that no one who's unconditionally supports Israel, and let's be honest, in addition to the insane pro-Israel right-wing nuts like APAC and the extremist group Betar and ADL, Jeffries, Schumer, uh, Graham, Ted Cruz, nobody is asked, like Mamdani is asked, does your unconditional support of Israel means you support the genocidal language by Israel's leaders? Does it mean you support the genocide against the Palestinian people? Does it mean you support the IDF killing more babies in the past year and a half than in any other place on earth? Do you support the IDF making more child amputees in Gaza than any other place on earth? Yet Mamdani, Muslims, Arabs, and anyone who's against occupation, including you and me, have to play the condemnathon, right? And Mamdani didn't even say it. And I'm so glad he's not condemning it. He says, I didn't say that. I'd use that language. Let me tell you what I say instead. And it's still not enough. And this is what they did to Bob Vylan. They took, agree with it or disagree with it. I'm like you. It's a band I never heard of playing Glastonbury who said this stuff that I wouldn't say. But this is what Israeli leaders are saying. And guess what? You're perfectly fine with Elon Musk doing a double Zig Heil, but you're going to take away the visa of Bob Vylan and you're going to censor Kneecap and Bob Vylan. And this is the good news. What I've tweeted, and I'm going to say again, shows to me the good news because we need good news. Remarkable in our lifetime, Francesca, a year and a half. Amazing shift. We've been in this game for a long time. Young people don't give a shit. Israel has lost the culture war.
Yeah.
Israel has lost the moral war. Israel has lost popularity.
Yes.
Israel has lost Miss Rachel. Once you lose Miss Rachel, you've lost. And so let
No,
them
yeah.
crash and commit a genocide. But this is a losing war. And the Democratic Party, going back to what you and I have talked about ever since we co-hosted America Hinge, instead of listening to their base way back last year, the bar is in hell. Just bring a Palestinian speaker. They said, shut the F up. And they still haven't learned and they're doing it. I don't know if you saw the New York Times article, Project 2029. Have you seen Project 2029, the Democrats?
No.
It's
No.
Third Way. It's the Abundance Group. It's all the Biden folks. That's Project 29. The core of it is the same establishment instead of the AOCs and Mamdanis.
Well,
Anyway,
can we
sorry for
just
my
let's
rant.
just
I go to you.
no, but let's just stop down there because you and I covered how Alyssa Slotkin, representative, right? Alyssa Slotkin,
Senator from Michigan.
Senator, excuse me, Senator Alyssa Slotkin, said that the future of the Democratic Party isn't woke. It's to be like strong and tough and like,
Goddamn alpha energy of
and
Coach
alpha.
Campbell.
Okay, now apply that to the New York election. Well, in that case, 13 women coming forward to accuse Andrew Cuomo, they're just trying to cancel him. They're just trying to be woke on him. We have to ignore women sexual assault in order to win. We need this tough guy, alpha Andrew fucking Cuomo, nepo baby legacy political dynasty. And how did that work out for him? Man, young people don't want to vote for that, and this is the whole point, is that you give people, if you play the strong man game, the other side's going to win every single time. And what are we going to do? We're going to throw people of color. We're going to throw women. We're going to throw trans people and queer people under the bus in service of what? Trying to play their rigged ass, alpha game. I mean, Senator Ruben Gallego also wants to play the same game when it comes to crypto. And we should hammer him over that kind of thing. Oh, the right's going to use crypto, so why don't we use crypto? Yeah, but you know what? The right's going to win. The right is going to, because that is their strategy. What's your strategy? What's your vision? And I think Mamdani really showed that actually when you stand on business, when you believe in something, you can get elected. When you stop hedging, when you stop changing what your language is, you stop saying, oh, God, I do condemn global intifada. Instead, he says, look, I don't use that language, but I understand that actually doesn't mean what you say it means. It means uprising. It means rebellion. It means resistance. Anyway, moving on to more pressing things like this ongoing genocide. And to any, folks in the comments or anyone who watches me, and there's a lot of people who are on social media who somehow think that it was people who spoke about Palestine that cost Kamala Harris the election in 2024. And I have like the saddest news for you, which is you're wrong. And the fact of the matter is, until we figure out where the hell we stand vis-a-vis this absolutely lawless, genocidal nation of Israel that we've armed to the teeth, we cannot do right by our politics. We
Nope.
cannot win. We cannot do right by our voters and unless we get rid of the Jeffries and the Schumers, who really, what they're doing over the weekend since Mamdani's win and then this last week, they've been apologizing effectively to their donors. Like, sorry, APAC, I couldn't prevent this. They won in my literal districts. I'll try to, see, who knows the kinds of things they're going to do before the general. But ultimately, if we keep on sinking our lot with the Jeffries and the Schumers or anyone, or the Gillibrand,
Gillibrand.
Gillibrand has taken $500,000 from APAC. If we keep on throwing down with them, you guys, we're going to lose. Our fates are linked. And watch, it's amazing because I come from long time organizing around Palestine when in early 2003, like we were talking about against the war. And, in my mind, it was always like, okay, Palestine is important, Israel's important, but it may not necessarily be like, the focal point or we don't have to, agree on that issue in order to move forward. And I'm sorry to say 25, 20 years later, man, that is the issue that we need clarity on. That is the issue. No more funding for Israel. That's like point period. No more military funding. Okay, that's fine. You know, but like start somewhere. And it's starting with getting our money out of rescinding weapons and stop the aid to Israel. I almost stuck that landing, but I didn't because I'm
It
tired.
was close. It was close, but we understood the point, and no one's perfect. And what I've been saying for a while now, and we said this in conversation. I've been predicting it, and I hate the fact that my prediction has come true even before the election results. I said the Democratic establishment. I didn't say the Democrats. That the Democratic establishment would rather burn the party to the ground than
Yeah.
see Donnie be the mayor of New York. I said they're going to unleash the nastiest anti-Semitic smearing. Trust me, I've been here. I'm brown. I'm Muslim. And look, the same playbook against Muslims and Arabs and anyone who against the war since the war on terror has been used against Zoran Mamdani, thickening his beard, darkening his skin, equating statements with him that he's never said, literally asking him to be stripped of his citizenship. That's a Representative Andy Ogles, equating him with the 9/11 terror attacks. That's Charlie Kirk. Deborah Missing, just having a nervous breakdown. Exquisite. But it's the Democrats who are doing it, folks. It's the Democrats who lined up for a sexual predator, Andrew Cuomo.
Yep.
And even now, so many people came from Mamdani. He's like, AOC, learn from it. You can't destroy her. He's onto something. He's talking about authenticity, sincerity, affordable housing. He's reached out to all these different constituents who might not agree with him on everything, but they're like, he's authentic, he's sincere, and like you said, he stands on business. He doesn't wiffle waffle, right? I might disagree with him, Palestine, but he doesn't throw Palestinians under the bus. He doesn't throw critiques of capitalism under the bus. He keeps saying, nope, I'm not for the billionaires. He just said it over the weekend, right? He says, nope, I'm not going to throw transgender people under the bus. I'm not going to throw undocumented under the bus. And people say, we respect that. He's a fighter. He's authentic and he's sincere. And what we said was people would rather have authenticity and sincerity than experience and age. I'm sorry, folks, that's where we are. And they have gone after him. All the cannons against him, all the cannons against Bob Vylan and Kneecap, but nothing against APAC. Nothing against ADL, nothing against those people who cheerled the detention of who just got released. Mahmoud Khalil, Rumeza Ozturk, right? Folks, this is all
But
connected. First,
and
they
this
went
is
after
and the,
transgender people, undocumented, pro-Palestinian activists. Now ISIS unleashed against friggin' the city of LA. Now they're going after universities. They're going after law firms. They're going after Republicans like Tom Tillis because he said, man, this will destroy this big, beautiful bill from hell will destroy Medicaid and destroy my state. Donald Trump targeted him. Guess what? He just announced his retirement. So Democrats, if they're going to throw Tillis under the bus, if they're going to throw Chris Krebs under the bus, Miles Taylor under the bus, Liz Cheney under the bus, Mike Pence under the bus, what do you think they'll do to you? Stand on business, stand up for your base, stand up for marginalized communities, and then maybe
yes.
all the people who stayed at home might effing vote for you. Sorry for my rant,
Yes.
Francesca.
No, I think that's really right on. And the other thing about this is like, you know, there's some stat, and tomorrow on my show I'm going to talk about, the MAGA murder bill, as I think we should call it, right? But it's a very small number of people who've heard about what's in this
Yep,
massive bill. I mean, number one, it's massive, I think, on purpose, right? To overwhelm people, to feel like there's
900
so
pages.
much. 900 pages to overwhelm you so you don't know what is in it, but
Yep,
ultimately it is a tax break to the
yep,
ultra wealthy. If you're making more than $3 million a year, it
yep,
is a permanent extension of Donald Trump's tax cuts
yep.
that he passed in 2017, that allowed people to write off private jets. That's the one that I'll never forget, and I will bring it up every single time. And it does so by finding the spending in cutting Medicaid and SNAP. In other words, literally, quite literally, taking food out of babies' mouths. That's how it does it, and giving it to the ultra wealthy. Mind you, if you are on SNAP or you've been on SNAP, SNAP is very precarious. There's hardly any. You don't really get that much food on SNAP. When there was expanded SNAP benefits under COVID-19, when Biden was president, people were like, "Oh, I could afford a fresh vegetable. That was really great. I ate veggies for the first time." So already people are barely hanging on with the Medicaid that they've received. Many states, by the way, already have work requirements. That's another thing that's going to be happening. They already have work requirements, or they make too much money to even qualify for Medicaid, but not enough money to buy healthcare. Everyone's already so strapped thin. This will, I mean, Waj, destitution, I think, is the point.
It'll kill
Um,
people.
and it
It'll
will
kill
kill
people.
it will kill people, period. And so um, the problem that we've been having over the last 4 days is instead of congratulations, Zoran, join us in this fight. Let's talk about what is being done to the working class in this country. You're hearing, why did you say this, or not say this, or maybe you said this? Are you anti-Semitic? Are you, by virtue of being Muslim, anti-Semitic? Are you, what happened on, this is another 9/11. I mean, it is wild. And so when I say, quite honestly, unless we do right by getting our money out of the state of Israel and out of this genocide, we will never be able to, and out of our politics, we will never be able to focus on really fighting fascism, because we're going to constantly be lulled and lured by these bad faith actors into some bullshit that has nothing to do with what Americans are facing every single fucking day. Look, lastly on this, I'll turn it over to you. But look at your boy, Richie Torres, not your boy, but
Not my boy. Hey,
Richie,
hey, easy,
Richie
easy.
Torres Richie Torres is what? He's from the South Bronx. He represents one of the poorest districts in New York, maybe in the country, and he takes hand over fist money from APAC. There's a reason for that. You think the South Bronx has anything to do with what is happening in Gaza right now? Do you think that's number 1, 2, 3, 4 to 20 on their list in terms of, U.S. foreign policy in Israel? I don't know. I mean, and they do that on purpose. They prey on politicians who you can buy, and then and often Black politicians, sadly. Oops. And it's so sick. Richie Torres has spent more time condemning so-called anti-Semitism than talking about the fucking plight of people in the South Bronx and what they're actually going through. And God damn it, I hope Zoran can turn that around and actually speak to the South Bronx the way
He
they
performs
deserve.
like a lobbyist for Israel, and I say that without hyperbole. Just look at his tweets. The final thing I'll say before giving Francesca the final word, because I rallied her and thank you for the 600 people. There was no promotion. I just gently persuaded Francesca to come on until she finally said fine. is the following. This is not just a wealth transfer. This is a theft, the greatest theft in U.S. history, sending all of our money to the billionaires who are the wealthiest people on earth just so they can host more $50 million weddings in Venice. That was Jeff Bezos's wedding, the most gaudy, disgusting wedding, which was attended by 200 people, elitists, celebrities, and billionaires like your friend Oprah. Not your friend, but everyone's friend Oprah. It's a big club, and you ain't in it, folks. And that's what I want people to take away. It's the oligarchy, fighting the oligarchy, the corporate money that contaminates Jeffries and Schumer's and Ted
Yeah.
Cruz. Right? It's the money by APAC that is showered on these people, and they're willing to sell the rest of us out. And we need a look. I'm here for it. I'm done with the Democratic establishment, with the Democratic leadership. I want a culling. I want Mamdani to win, man. I have never rooted more for someone to win than Mamdani and perhaps even AOC. If they can emerge and cull the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party, maybe, Francesca, the Democratic Party has to lose again and again and again, but the stakes are so high because I need these mother effers gone. I'm not talking about old guard in the sense of age. I'm talking about old ideas.
Yeah.
If you get the AOCs, and the Mamdanis and these other folks who are fighters, who are authentic and sincere, who don't take money from corporations, our democracy might have a chance because I'm telling you right now, with what I've seen in the past 6 months, this is Republican light. This is Democrats, but actually friends of the oligarchy. And how does that help undocumented immigrants, transgender people, the city of LA, blue states, people on Medicaid, people who are workers? It doesn't. So when I criticize the Democratic Party, it's because I want them to do better. And when people say, well, you got no choice. We have a choice.
Yeah.
Elected officials are our tools and our servants. And if they're not doing the job, F them. We don't need a Schumer and a Jeffries.
Yeah.
We need fighters. Where am I wrong on this, Francesca?
No, you're not. And I understand the cynicism and people giving up, right? People give up on the political process and they give up on the electoral system. And I understand that. But at the same time, this is the terrain we've been given and we have to fight on both fronts. We have to fight, as they call it, the inside-outside strategy. And so, look, I don't think Zoran winning the primary is huge. But and it was a big loss for Israeli money. I mean, Israeli lobby money took a big ol' hit. But I think Bernie called it when he said we have to get specifically money out of our primary process. And I think if we can do nothing else, Democrats also have to clean up our side of the street, knowing that we are better positioned to fight fascism if we can get corporate money and super PAC money like APAC money out of our primary process, and we have a better shot at actually winning and changing the party. But again, this is tooth and nail watch. It is so hard. And, Zoran was kind of, it's a long walk. And Zoran was kind of, Gillibrand is answering these questions about Zoran. She has not done a lick of research about him. It's so clear she has no idea who he is. No idea. So she's like, I don't know. Well, and Brian Lehrer in this interview, right, is asking her, just to be clear, he's not a jihadist. He's never said things like, death to the Jews or whatever. And she's like, well, I don't know about that. And it's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Do you think, this is the other thing. Look at the Republicans. You think when a Republican wins like a MAGA upstart wins a fucking primary, that they don't all pop bottles and celebrate that person? Of course they do. They don't say, well, I don't know. I don't know if they're really MAGA. I don't know what they don't police them. They celebrate. Hey, it's a win for their side. Democrats don't do that. And so again, we fight, but like, I don't know, Waj, I don't know if this country's ready to have a better Democratic Party. I still think,
no, I think it's going to take some time.
It's still going to be a massive fight. And I think this is why I do think I think AOC should run as independent. There, I said it. I think AOC should run as a fucking independent. That's what I think.
It's fine by me. It's fine by me. And I think she'll even get more support. And I want to remind people that people who voted for Donald Trump in 2024 also voted for AOC. They want change. And both not the same, folks. Donald Trump is a corrupt billionaire and a bullshit artist. The AOC actually comes from the grassroots, and it will be the grassroots, folks. It will be the people, the majority, the community organizers and leaders who put pressure on these corrupt mother effers. That's what's happening in LA. That's what's happening with the pressure against Tarjay and all these people against DI. That's what's happening with all the people who bent the knee, the law firms. It'll be up to us. You cannot outsource this to Jeffries and Schumer. They will not help us. They are bought out. They are corrupt. They bend the knee to the oligarchy. They're outdated. They're not made for this fight. They're not built for this moment. If you don't believe me, I give you the past 10 years. They are not built for this. And
Yeah.
so people like Francesca R., she joined me at the last second. Francesca, before I let you go, shamelessly promote yourself.
I already did, but Bituation Room, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays. You can watch live, youtube.com/FrannyFio. You can listen as a podcast, The Bituation Room, Twitch. We're also streaming on Substack. And then, yes, come see me live this Saturday in Pasadena at the Ice House, August 1st and 2nd in Seattle, Washington for live Bituation Room and live stand-up comedy. What about you, Waj?
I host a Left Hook, and like a fool, I have no paywalls. I'm like Blanche Dubois. I depend on the kindness of strangers. So if you have a few bucks, please give it. If not, it's okay. Democracy dies in darkness. A dude who just threw a $50 million wedding in Venice owns a newspaper that used to say that. But I believe people should be informed. So at the very least, please subscribe to the Left Hook. Please subscribe to Francesca's the YouTube channel and her Substack. Please spread the good word. For those who joined us late, we're going to have this up in an hour. So please listen to the wisdom of Francesca. Be kind, be empathetic. And please, oh, please don't be a fascist. Rest, Francesca, rest. Thank you.
Thank you.